Welcome back to the shed. Today I'm going to be talking about my journey into two-way communication. Yes, I've bought a radio. So because communications with Bob via mobile phone, I've found can be a bit hit and miss on my network. And in other locations, when I'm over in the lakes or up in Scotland, sometimes I don't have a reliable mobile signal. You can move about and find a signal, but sometimes it's not quite reliable. And also, if you're in an area that's not reliable and you're a person you're trying to contact in the same area with the same network, they're going to have an unreliable signal as well. So things can get a bit hit and miss. So we thought we'd give two-way radios a try. So I went on Amazon and I bought a pair two-way radios. Now this is PMR 446, which is a leisure band. You don't need a license, you just buy the radios, charge them up, and away you go. But I wasn't sure how good they would be, so I've had them up to Bob and I've had a walk around all the fields and out to the main road, and I've checked the signal back to the camp. And I think they're going to be alright. So this is the Retevis RT28. It's a PMR 446 radio. It has a push to talk button and something called a squelch button. Don't ask me what to do, it just makes noise. I think it's for listening to stuff. On the top you've got the antenna, which is fixed. You can't take the antenna off, it's there for good. And two dials. One is the power dial, turns it on, and is also the volume control, and the second one is the channel select. 8. Turn it and it tells you which channel you go to. There's 16 channels. Turn that off. In the box you get two of these walkie-talkies with batteries, lithium batteries, and belt clips and little wrist straps. That's basically it. You also get a power lead. It's USB and it has two micro USB ends on one end and a standard USB plug on the other. So you plug this into a USB socket and you can charge both of them together. So that's your charging cable and your two handsets. That's basically what you get in the box. On the side you can see there is the micro USB for charging, and above it you've got a microphone and an ear socket for a headpiece. And talking a headpiece, I didn't buy a headpiece for these. I bought two of these microphones. Now this is also a microphone and it has a speaker in it, so you can hear what's being said. So you can clip this up close to onto your jacket or something, and you can keep the radio underneath, clipped to your belt or in your pocket, out of the weather. And these simply, they have two pins on them, one for each, and they plug straight in the side, and that's it sorted. You now have a microphone and a speaker that you can clip wherever. So this is it, the Retevis RT28 PMR 446 two-way radio, leisure radios for use in the UK and Europe. Apparently you can use these in Europe. There you go. So as I said, I was walking around Camp Bob and the surrounding area to give them a try and to see what they were like on site. I shot some bits of video. The weather was a bit against me, it was a bit windy and a bit rainy, so excuse some of the wind noise. I don't have any of those fancy radio microphones, so I was just using the little microphone that's on the camera to record this. So it was, in some instances the wind got a bit noisy, so bear with that, and have a look at what happened when I tested these radios. Well, hello and welcome back. I'm not in the shed just now, I'm out and about. But you might already know that. Depends if I do an intro. Who am I kidding? I'm going to do an intro so you'll know where I am. I'm off at camp. What am I on with now? I'm testing some cheap two-way radios. I've invested, I say invested, I've bought two cheap PMR 466 radios off Amazon. There's lots on there. I did the usual trawl of YouTube and the internet to see what people were saying, and picked the two I've picked. You'll have seen them by now. I'll have shown you a close-up before you came out to the woods. So what we're doing now is a range test. Obviously, if this range test proves to be rubbish, you probably won't see this video. No, you will. Rubbish or not, you'll see it. There's no point doing things only if they work. So, our first waypoint check is just outside the trees, which is where I am now. I'm just outside the trees. So give us a second and then we'll do the range check. Right, here we are again. Just outside, I'm going to do a first range check. See if she can hear me. She that must be a bird is back in the shelter, and obviously I'm wandering about. This is mobile unit back to base camp. Can you hear me? Over.
I can hear you, but please give me 5 minutes so I can have a
Okay, that's on camera now. Thanks very much. Bye. So I'm walking down to the second checkpoint, the far end of the camping field, and we'll see if we can get a signal down there. I might have to dodge off the path here. I think there's a car coming up, but we'll see. Somebody's coming in. Yeah, there is. I'll have to dodge out the way. Right, at the second point, it's going to start raining, so I'm going to be quick about this. Checkpoint 2 to base camp, over.
Okay, I'm here, I can hear you.
Oh, quality's grand this end, loud and clear. What's it like your end?
Is it clear?
Okay, I'm off down the gate.
Okay, enjoy your walk.
Well, there you go. Second checkpoint. So that's got the camping field covered. Crystal, come here. Start. I'm going to go back in the coat. Coat! Put this camera away before I get wet. What to you later. Ah, welcome back. You missed all of that. I've done my radio checks, but it was raining, so I put the camera away. I didn't want to get it wet. So, as the crow flies back towards camp, we're about just over 700 metres. But between me and camp, there's a number of ups and downs and little woods, and then there's the woods that the camp's in. So I'm impressed. As I say, the last time I bought any leisure radios, a long time ago, they were called leisure radios, little handheld units that you've got 3 batteries in the back and away you went. We got them when the kids were little, so that when they were out wandering about and we were out walking or going anywhere, there was one in each of the backpacks should we get separated. I mean, these are the days when mobile phones weren't that common, and the little kids didn't have any. I think we had one in the family, between me and the wife, that was it. So yeah, we got those little radios, but they weren't very good, and the range was very poor. And I say, if they're out of sight, things... Essentially, they were pants. Because I dug them out and put batteries in them, and they still work, but they were rubbish. So I was unsure about buying new ones. But technology moves on, and electronics has definitely moved on in the last 20 years. So I thought, well, give it a go. So our friend Jeff Bezos came to the rescue again with his Amazon store, and I managed to buy 2 handsets for not a lot of money. I'll put a link in the description with the prices, but they weren't that expensive. They're about £20. These little radio units, the extension, these microphones with little speakers in, they're an extra. Well, I nearly fell over there, talking to the camera. They're an extra, you have to pay more for them. But again, I'll put the link in the description and the costs. Can't remember off the top of my head. But I think the radios are about 20 quid, and it was about £15 for a pair of microphones. So yeah, well impressed. Sound quality is pretty good. There's not a lot, if any, static in the background that I've found here or when we were out testing them with a dog walk the other day. And on the dog walk, the wife went one way around, I went the other, and we were only at the furthest point apart. We're about half a K, just over. But, and that's measured off Google Maps. But what we did find is when we got close to pylons, we started to get a lot of interference from, but she was walking next to one set of pylons and I was underneath some other power lines elsewhere in the wood. So at that point, and only at that point, did we find that we were getting interference. Once we both got about 30 yards away, all the interference stopped. But it diminished the further you got from it. So, I'll give her another shout. Base, this is mobile. Can you hear me? Over. Base, this is mobile. Can you hear me?
Yes, mobile, I can hear you.
Oh, that's fine. I thought we'd stop working there when you didn't answer. Can you hear me? Over.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I think I tried to speak to you while you still had the mic button pressed. My fault. Over.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
I'll be back in a couple of minutes then. Out.
With all the drinks now. Okay?
Yeah, okay, I'll be back in a minute. Over and out.
Over and out.
Right, as you've seen there, you can have some issues with... Oh, gone off. Right, as you've seen, you can have some issues with trying to talk over each other. But that's down to a bit of practice and a bit of radio discipline, I suppose. Something that neither of us have got at the moment. But yes, it's remembering to say things like over and out when you're totally finished, and over when you just want to, when you finished what you're saying and you're waiting for them to reply. It'll come with a bit of practice, I suppose. But the test today was, do they work in the area I need them to work? And I would say yes, they do. I've got clear comms from the camp to the main road and various places around the camp field as well. And the idea is when we have the meet in the summer, the members who are going to be staffing the meet have an option and a facility to keep in touch rather than relying on mobile phones, because in this area the mobile phone signal can be a bit spotty. Some people don't have a problem. I myself and my wife and a few others have intermittent service. But that's mobile phones for you. It's sometimes they're brilliant and other times they're not. So I'm going to watch the sheep for a bit and then carry on back and have a cup of coffee. I'll see you back in the shed. Ta-ra! So there you go. The work around the site. The wife was in our cabin inside the wood, near the centre of the wood, and they were good round the field. They were good at the gate, and they were good out to the main road, which is far enough. As I say, as the crow flies, it was only about 700 metres. When I checked the distance on Google Maps, it was about 700 metres. But there's stuff in the way, and these radios are really affected by stuff in the way. They're not very powerful. They're half a watt. That's legally all you can have. It's got to be less than a half watt. So there you go. Short video about this. Watch out for John's video. Keep a lookout on the Northeast Bushcraft Adventures Facebook page. Details will be released on there as and when they become available. At the moment, we've picked a date. It's going to be from the 9th. Lockdown permitting. Things can change. I'm not going to mention cost because I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be. Won't be that expensive. My view is we should have robbed you blind. There's going to be loads of people desperate to get out. We could rob you. But I was voted down. For the kids, with luck and things permitting, we might have a little air pistol competition for juniors. Kids. There won't be a massive prize. There might be a little trophy or medal. I don't know yet. Haven't decided. Still looking into things. But it'll be a simple competition, bit of a knockout competition with a pistol. You won't have to bring a pistol. I will supply the same CO2 pistol for everyone to use, and then it's fair. It's nobody's gun, nobody's an expert with it. It's just a bit of fun. So there you have it. Two-way mobile communication at not much money. I think they're all right. You make your own mind up, and hopefully I'll see some of you at the meet in July. Take care.